Malika, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. What is the call about? What sparked it?
Dudu, I just want to say up front, firstly, thank you for the opportunity to speak and represent the arts and culture sector from the various stakeholders and artists themselves. I just wanted to also acknowledge that the minister that we are referring to hosted a really honoring memorial for sis mom mentor Spongile Kumalo on the same day, that it's also the 39th anniversary of Neil Agate's passing, which speaks to our really horrific past, stories that have been through artists in some ways told through our writings. Again, artists playing their role in this way, helping us remember. And then also, obviously, Nish from Squatter Camp's passing as well. And I'm saying this because it's a context, a pandemic context, and a time of great and unrelenting grief, I want to say, in which the minister's tweet about theatre being alive and well in our country was the last, the last tweet that broke the camel's back. And since then, obviously, there's been a public apology, and the point of this conversation is that it actually diminishes what the issues are if we focus only on what seems like even a personal attack on the minister. Clearly, the weight of what has gone on in the sector over time are a complexity of issues that cannot be, sit squarely on the shoulders of one individual. So right now, I'm speaking on behalf of STAN, the Sustaining Theatre and Dance Foundation, and as well as a theatre collective. Both of these bodies have been formed at a time when the pandemic has hit the arts and culture sector in a way that is quite unique to it, and where even in terms of looking at the impact of COVID-19 on people's self-sustainability or income in a sector, artists and the culture and creative industry sector have been severely affected, and in a particular way because of the nature of what it is that we do and the diversity within the sector. So there's been a really strong coordinated effort to say it's not only about the tweet, it's not simplified as an apology, it's really about a growing frustration over time that has reached its threshold at the artists trying to, and representatives from the sector, trying to articulate and engage the Department of Arts and Culture around a variety of concerns, whether that's the maladministration of grants, whether that's a lack of communication and consultation with the stakeholders, whether it's the minister himself being out of touch with artists and what they need, and looking at ways that has been, that proposals have been made over time. Even a report that that came after a meeting with the department on behalf of our sector by the Theatre Collective, in great detail goes into the testimonies of individual companies, of artists, of incidents going back as far as 2018, where it seems we are just not being heard, and that even the valid proposals that we have are not being taken up, let alone the fact that we have a white paper that in an entire 5-year period of this minister's tenure has not come into active implementation.
Malika, what is it that the industry needs? And I ask this in reference to the ministry itself. Is the Department of Arts and Culture what the arts industry needs in general outside of the current minister? Has it served its mandate over the years?
That's precisely what I've been saying, that this report is definitely not about spotlighting the minister in isolation. In terms of the minister's role, I would say that we are calling for a replacement of leadership, because we feel that obviously leadership plays a fundamental role in seeing that a department fulfills its mandate and that there are effective management and implementation processes that happen. And the department operates in a way that definitely has not effectively served our sector before COVID-19, and even less so now. And that's a matter of, faulty administration, of poor allocation of funds, of a lack of consultation. That's not about an individual. That's about systems and processes that haven't been sensitized about our sector and what it is our needs are, and haven't been articulated even to the sector in a way that we can directly engage in. A large majority of the sector hasn't even got the capacity to respond through these, I want to say, generic and hurdle-infected processes of applying for COVID relief. I wanted to say, it feels as though there's a litany of deaths going on. And they are everything from individual artists to communities of practice to legacies of professional and internationally acclaimed cultural heritage that is being neglected and eroded because there are systems that do not recognize how to communicate with us or collaborate with us. And if we don't have a visionary leader who is regularly and relentlessly working with us to say, what is it that you need? Not reactionary apologies or last-minute seminars with only a few elite, well-established, and often DAC-funded individuals who may be in themselves, very powerful and speak for many, but there are multiple ways in which we need to be engaged. And this report that has been submitted in November 2020 very clearly and in great depth articulates what the concerns are and offers multiple ways in which we would like to work together. So it's an appeal to collaborate, to listen, to reconnect, because there's clearly a fundamental and detrimental disconnect between the leadership, the department, and us as a very diverse and complex community.
Unfortunately, we're so tight for time, we can't get into more, but that's where we'll have to leave it for this afternoon. Malika Ndlovu is a writer and performance poet. Just a note that Minister Nathi Mthethwa has been offered a right to reply, and the department spokesperson, Maschaba Ndlovu, will be on ENCA at 10:30 tomorrow morning.